Like Steve McQueen, I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and, most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I only speak to transportation professionals on this show, as well as my twice-a-week long-form podcast, you guys, because I want to put the right information out there from the people who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many, many reasons why I would proudly fly this American flag behind me every single day. A, we're the greatest nation on earth, but B, I'm living my American dream, and I'm going to help each and every one of you live yours as well. Solo show today. Like I said, like I like featuring experts on here. And, that's what I had on yesterday with my man, James Courier, talking about finance and everything else and interest rates and all that fun stuff about how to properly build up your business and stuff. And then, also got my guy coming on tomorrow too. Another subject matter expert out there, you guys, to put that information in front of you to help you make some sound decisions. Solo show, though, like I said, we got some interesting articles that we're going to break down. But before we do anything, as always, you guys are going to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub, vhubapp.com. Whether you're a broker, carrier, or a shipper, we all need access to trailers at some point in time. And you get paid to move these trailers, you guys. All right? Like, straight up, you get paid revenue on top of the money that you can get by loading these trailers out to move them out there. So what they're working on is they have Stoughton, Wisconsin heading over to Milton, Ontario, and you get $525 US to move that. And now you don't have to just find a shipper in Stoughton. You can move it over to Madison, over to Milwaukee. It just has to end up over in Milton, Ontario. And now they got about 40 trailers left out in San Diego, you guys, going to multiple locations. They have roll-up doors and standard swing door dry vans ranging anywhere from $1,100 to $2,200 per trailer, you guys, per trailer. There's a lot out there, you guys. It's going to Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, New Hampshire, Wisconsin, Virginia, Texas, you name it, you guys. And again, that's on top of the revenue that you can get by loading them out. And then finally, they got Paragould, Arkansas, going to Mississauga, Ontario for $736 US per move. So hit them up, you guys, vhubapp.com. My friends Stacy Steen, Zach Lonergan, they'll be in the audience. Just do me a favor, let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. Carla Isted, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Flo, what is up? Good morning, Flo. Tracy St. Clair coming in hot over on YouTube. Good morning. I go live on YouTube as well, you guys. Christina Harrison, good morning. Thank you for tuning in. Riley Dietrich, what is up, dude? It's been a minute since you've tuned in. Axel Logistics in the house. John Radvansky, hot topics from hotter than hell, Arizona. Yeah, man, it's pretty fucking hot out here right now. I'm going to be honest, but I will say this being my fourth summer down here, and it's been damn near 117 degrees every day for the last 2 weeks. And it's going to seemingly be that way here for a little bit. It's better than 30 below zero. That's all I'm going to say. On top of that, it's better than 30 below zero, which you get up in northern Wisconsin where I'm from. So fuck that. I will take this. And yeah, it sucks. There's no other way to put it. It is what it is. April, let's go. Win that freight Wednesday. Nick rumor has it, my boy, coming in hot from the other side of the pond. We're an international show, you guys. I don't know if you knew that, but we are literally international. Just putting that out there. Annika, good morning to you. Thanks for tuning in. And let me see here. Better than Scottish summers. Nick. Thomas Wiederin, good morning. Freight morning to us all. It is, it's a great day for freight, as we say inside of Freight Coach Logistics every single day. It's a great day for freight. And, it really is. The opportunities out there, you guys are going to continue to present themselves. And, if this is your first time tuning in as well, I do usually break down articles, but I also like to give some advice on what I experienced, kind of throughout the week. And then also just here's a quick reminder, you guys, that Fridays are Q&A day. I did get a couple of DMs already from some questions that I will answer. But if you have any sales or operations related questions, DM them over to me and I'll answer them live on the show on Friday. Every single Friday is dedicated to Q&As. Okay, so you bring the Qs, I'll bring the As, and we do that every single Friday on the live show because I do get a lot of those questions throughout the week, and frankly, with my workload being what it is, I don't have time to answer them all in the moment, but I will answer them live on the show. So if you have them, drop them in the chat on the show on Friday or DM them over to me, and I will answer them live for you guys. But a lot of the thoughts that come into my head, because the difference between me and others who create content, and not saying that they have bad content. I know all the content creators inside of transportation, and I fully support and love everything that they're doing. But, the difference between my message of what I put out there is it's coming from what I experience in my day-to-day of building up my brokerage, right? And, I've been in this industry for a long time now. And, I'm out there selling every single day. I mean, we got freight moving today, right? And I'm out there doing it. I'm having those conversations with those customers. I'm having those conversations with carriers and booking freight and going through a lot of this. And, I'm showing I'm just laying out the groundwork, you guys, because I'm going to build the largest transportation company in North American history. I'm going to make C.H. Robinson look like a fucking startup when I'm done. And that, again, no shade to anybody, but that's where I'm going with all of this. And I'm going to lay all of this stuff out there as we grow from where we are today and then hitting those levels and those multipliers. And, frankly, it's like right now, I mean, shit's not easy, right? Like there's a lot of stuff that's going on, but my friend Nick Dangles put out a post this morning about how a lot of the issues that brokers face are self-inflicted. Now, his was in regards to a lot of the fraud and the double brokering that's going on out there right now, and how a lot of it can be severely reduced. And, sign up for a broker carrier and you can get another level of security on your onboarding and capacity management platform that we have. But on top of that, you guys, a lot of it is the decision making that you do on the shipment by shipment basis. Like I am all about the niche. I'm all about the niche as a sales rep, and I'm all about developing core carriers for those lanes. And for any of you out there who say that there's no loyalty there, loyalty is a two-way fucking street. And that's a hard pill for some people to swallow at times, is they're like, oh, the loyalty is only there when it benefits me. And that's not it at all. I mean, we have freight out there that we move that if we went out to the spot market, we could probably book it for cheaper. But I don't believe in that. We have very solid carriers on our freight, very solid carriers. And we're able to bring a level of service and communication to our customers, which leads to customer loyalty. And then we are in turn loyal to those carriers who provide that service to us. And for me, it's about applying that day in and day out. Now, is this going to work for everybody? Absolutely not. That is not going to be for everybody out there. But for me, this is what we're applying, and this is where I found success. I found a lot of success in doing this in my career. And I've also worked through those beginning challenges of, it's not always when it's beneficial for me as the broker, because I want to overpay my carriers when I don't have to, so they undercharge me when they don't have to. And it's about building that up one lane at a time, one customer at a time, one truck at a time. And that's like, you guys probably can't see that, but that's my company slogan. One truck at a time, you guys, because that's what it boils down to. Because you can do 1,000 shipments for a customer, but you're not entitled to the 1,000 in first. This shit is earned, and you need to apply this stuff day in and day out, and not when it's just beneficial for you. And what Nick was talking about a lot of the fraud that's going on out there, and I talk about this frequently. You want to reduce your fraud, and then you want to reduce your exposure to it. How are you selling your freight? Because they're looking for the people who don't give a shit. And that is why it is rampant in a lot of theirs. There's a lot of people who don't fucking care, right? They post up loads. They say it picks here, it delivers here. This is what it weighs. This is what it pays. And then they're done. They'll take the cheapest carrier out there. And there's a lot of red flags that come along with it. There's a lot of questions that you can't answer. But you go with it because it's the cheapest truck. And that's what leads to a lot of this stuff, right? And I'm all about asset reutilization, reusing your carriers. I stand behind it. We've developed some technology out there that makes it a very efficient process where you don't have to jump from screen to screen or anything like that. One click of a button, you notify all of those trusted carriers that you've already set up, you've already vetted, they've already worked with you, and then they get access to your freight right away, and you're more efficient in that process. And I stand behind that because I apply it day in and day out inside of my business. And that's where I think a lot of that loyalty grows, right? Carrier loyalty, customer loyalty. Because as a broker, No matter what anybody wants to say, all we have is our word. Communication is literally the only thing that we have out there, and that is our only separator when it boils down to it. Yeah, price is a thing, but at the end of the day, I can only control one thing and one thing only, and that's me running my mouth. And for those of you who tune in, you guys know I'm pretty fucking good at running my mouth. But that's kind of a little lighthearted thing about, it's a little something that I'm seeing out there, So again, you guys, let's just keep going after it. Keep going after it. Keep making those calls. Keep doing what you got to do to build up your dreams, and fuck what everybody else says at the end of the day. Danny Longoria, good morning to you. Thanks for tuning in. Manuel Toledo, good morning, sir. Thank you for tuning in. Dylan Turner, my dog, what is up, bro? He's watching over on YouTube. Papa Freight, dude, it's good for you, Steven. I'm glad you got out of here. I'm glad you got out of Chandler and you're up there in Bend, Oregon right now. Dude, you know what it is, man. Steven, you got a pool, you got AC. I got a pool, I got AC. I'm fine. I'll survive. It'll be all right. John Radvansky, a lot of it is shippers not doing their due. I mean, yeah, man, but I think like that's why they hire brokers, though, right? They hire us to outsource their transportation so they don't have to do their due diligence. And, so again, but I see your side of the point too, man. I definitely do. Thomas says, I agree 100%. Niching and building a solid book of carriers that know your freight and your expectations. Bill Robinson says, great advice. Listen, people, get off load boards and do full vetting. Flo says, so true. Zena, good morning, network. All right. I got some articles I wanted to break down here. Let's see. Sorry, I'm addicted to coffee. I don't drink anything but like coffee in black coffee and water. It's literally all I drink. Anyways, first article that we're going to break down. My good friend Eric Johnson over at the JOC. If you're not following Eric on LinkedIn and Twitter and other social media platforms and YouTube, Eric is one of the, if not the best journalist in the transportation industry. I thoroughly love his work and what he does and what the JOC does in general. I like everything that the JOC puts out. Let me see. Logistics technology market grappling with pandemic period over hiring. A wave of layoffs across the broader technology sector over the past year has intermittently bled into the logistics industry, most notably at once high-flying software vendors and digital intermediaries that have been forced to reduce operating costs by cutting headcount. Let me see. Jim, don't say. Oh, that threw me off. Jim Hand says my doctor had said to cut down on coffee, so I found a new doctor. Oh, man, that threw me off. I love it. A return to normal freight demand off a sky-high pandemic peak only partly explains the bloodletting, which Freightos, the most recently affected, announced July 11th as it would have cut 13% of its workforce. The other driver is that investors are now demanding a quicker path to profitability than they did during the heady days of the pandemic. Over the last 3 years, the onus was on growth, not profitability, but that has changed as expectations rationalized. Freight volumes falling back down to earth have revealed a hard truth. Most logistics technology providers overhired during the pandemic. Most of those hires were in sales, marketing, and human resources, roles designed to help venture-backed companies grow quickly. Force feeding the industry. And then let me see here. Meanwhile, logistics technology providers that bootstrap their businesses have essentially been waiting for this shoe to drop, i.e. broker carrier. Shout out to me, self-plug. We are bootstrap and self-funded. My business partner, Kyle's the brains behind all that shit. I'm not saying much, but I'm the face, and I'm just kidding. Kyle's the brain behind everything. It's mind-boggling to me that there's so much money in it when you don't really need so much money, said Peter Kahn, CEO of Freight Procurement, technology provider Freightender, said in May interview with JOC, it's like trying to force feed the industry. There's nobody in our business who is saying we can double and triple our business every year because everybody wants what we have. He said, the market is fragmented and you have a long sales cycle. Disrupting logistics is more than building dashboards. The need for some companies to retrench on headcount calls into question whether every venture-backed model works in the logistics industry, which is prone to extreme ebbs and flows in volume and sales. If your product requires advertising or salespeople to sell it, it's not good enough. Chad Olson. Chad's a good friend of mine. He's the CEO of logistics AI software AVRL. He said in a LinkedIn post, Technology is primarily about product development, not distribution. That post was in reference to a report that freight broker Transfix was looking to find a new round of venture financing at a valuation far below what the company had reached in 2021 and a year after it failed to go public. But Transfix and Freightos, which provide a freight rate marketplace, rate indexes, and rate management tools, are far from the only cautionary tales in logistics. The list of companies that have announced layoffs in the past year stretches from bellwether technology providers such as Convoy, Flexport, Four-Door, Four Kites, and Project 44 to a range of smaller vendors. I will say this, my friends over at Green Screens, who also provide a phenomenal freight rate marketplace and really help out there with a very tangible tool that not only do I use inside of my brokerage, but they're also partners of mine. You guys, they're in it for the long haul, pun intended, dad joke, and they have an actual tangible tool that has experienced a lot of success. I'm personally using it, and I will vouch for them till the day I die with the growth that I've had with them. Going on to cash efficiency is king. It is clear that companies across the logistics spectrum have been instructed to be more cash efficient. Some company founders have said this directly to the JOC in discussions around layoffs, and others have made it clear that their layoff announcements that pursuing better unit economics was the priority. Given that persistent weak freight market conditions, we are refining our priorities to deliver on our plan to reach profitability with the capital already raised, says Freightos CEO Zvi Schreiber. It said in the company's layoff announcement, this includes efficiency measures that should keep us on the path of long-term sustainable growth. The broader question is what all of this means to shippers. A focus on capital efficiency from technology providers probably benefits shippers in the long run. It is a venture capital problem if technology provider has its invested fails to reach its growth and profitability metrics. So shippers need to be focused on outcomes with vendors, not how many sales or marketing with it. And then Jet McCandles from P44 says, when I see our customer base, I see a barbell. There are some customers that are some that get incredible value and it's critical to their business. The first cohort signed a contract and that tech should just work, but that's not how enterprise software works. You have to have initiative. You have to put your team around it. This article, though, I think it speaks to the broader scope of venture capital backed businesses, right? Because I think that, again, this is from the JOC. My friend Eric Johnson wrote this. It's a great article. But I think that it's very applicable to the broader market and scale of, if you're out there looking to start a business, right? You have this great idea. You need to be profitable at some point, right? Like you can't just raise money and lose money and continue to lose money and not eventually turn a profit, right? Like I get it. I get the allure. A lot of people just want to raise capital and then, but I honestly consider it a lot of napkin ideas, right? If they only, to their point in here, if they only have dashboards, that's a problem, right? Like, where are they going? Are they cash sufficient? Because as a broker, you are entrusting a lot into some of these technology providers out there. And it might look good today, but where are they? What's their path to profitability? Are they heavily investor backed? Is that what's kind of paying for everything? Because if the cash runs out and they're not profitable, then what happens? And those are questions that you need to look at as a broker or a trucking company looking to onboard a technology partner. Are they going to be around? Because I think everybody who signed up, and I don't want to see anybody fail. I want to be very, 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 very fucking clear about that. But as somebody who has bootstrapped all of his businesses, as somebody who understands the value of a dollar in their business and their partnerships and everything else is you have to have these questions. Does it align with what you're looking to do long-term? And again, if they are funded like that, what's their runway look like? Those are questions I would want to ask because again, data and having your tech partners aligned, it's not good if they're out of business in 12 fucking months because then what do you do? Right? Like that's a risk that as a business owner, you need to look into, and then frankly, a lot of these companies out here that only grew because the opportunity was there. They hired based on market conditions. That means they're going to fire based on market conditions as well. I think that some of these leaders, and again, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect out there, but I think like at scale, Because I mean, I've been in this industry for a long time. I saw all the layoffs happen in COVID. Then I saw all the mass hiring after like 6-7 months later. And now I've seen all the mass firings and layoffs. So how did you miscalculate that much? Because like that's a lot, right? That's a lot in some of these, not every case, but in some of these cases, there is a gross misjudgment on how many people you had to hire, and now you're firing all of them. Some of them are venture backed, and some of them are not venture backed. But still, at the end of the day, these are things that you got to ask. This is the shit that goes through my head. If I like, again, I'll never be an employee of anybody ever again, so I'll never go through with this. But if I was out there looking for a job, I would want to pay attention to this stuff. I would very much pay attention to this stuff. So that article, again, you guys, it's talking about that venture-backed companies. There's a risk, taking on investment, you guys, there's a risk associated with that. If you take on investment as a business owner and you don't know how the fuck you're going to make money, your number will be called at some point in time. And it's not fun. Again, there's no playbook to entrepreneurship. This stuff's not easy. I'm not trying to say that. But again, you got to be mindful of this. You really do. Let me see here. Not only communication separates, but how we use our TMS. In our case, to set up shipper and constantly instructions to help keep contacts current. Amen. Utilizing those technologies, you guys, is very crucial. And utilizing your TMS and the integrations and all of that stuff that goes along with it to run a more profitable. Like I had a great conversation with Ty. The episode released last week with Walter Mitchell, their CEO. Phenomenal conversation about AI, about utilizing the integrations and everything, about staying inside of those TMSs and increasing your output. Excuse me. It was a really good one. It was last week. Walter Mitchell came out on the podcast, you guys. So if you want to hear about that, it was a really good conversation. I'd highly recommend it. All right. So the yellow debacle is continuing. It's not going to. Oh, also, there's pretty big news that broke yesterday. I forgot to bring this up, but that huge lawsuit between Convoy and DAT is done. There was news that broke on that. I thought that was pretty interesting. And also shout out to my friend Matt Leffler, who came on my show a while ago and called it for what it was, that it was going to settle, and it was going to settle by Convoy paying DAT something, which they did. The terms were not disclosed, but I'm just saying the morning show here, we're kind of good at predicting shit. I'm just saying, I got a lot of track record of stuff out there that is going to seemingly come true. And then I got receipts that I'm going to be like, hey, we said it here first. So I'm just saying that happened. I think that it got settled. My thing is I think I've called this out on the show, and if I haven't, I'll call it out right now. I think Convoy is trying to sell. I think that they're probably in the process of being acquired. Just based off of the amount of layoffs that they've had. I think that they're shedding a lot of stuff, and they're trying to make themselves more appealing, because I personally feel like they're going to be acquired at some point this year. I do not have any inside information. I haven't heard shit from anybody. This is just my prediction and my prediction only, that Convoy is going to get acquired, and that's why they settled this shit to get it done. Anyways, Teamsters issue strike notice at Yellow. Again, we've been talking about this a lot, because like this is a big deal, right? Like if Yellow goes on strike, if all of these things go on strike, this is a big deal, and there's a lot of opportunity that can come from this. I want to be very, very clear. I fucking hate the fact that there's going to be people who are going to be out of work from this stuff. Like this drives me up the wall, because the workers suffer, right? The workers suffer. The executives at Yellow, they're going to be fine. The union, they're going to be fine. They're going to be collecting their dues, but the workers are the ones who suffer. And those are the people that I feel for in every single one of these scenarios. This article shortly, so Yellow said on Tuesday it would go through plans to defer required contributions to funds managed by Central State Funds. The International Brotherhood of Teamsters issued a strike notice. The notice said a work stoppage could occur as soon as Monday. So anybody out there who's competing with Yellow, this is literally a massive opportunity sales platter for you, like I had mentioned the other day, and I'm going to continue to mention. Yellow has failed its workers once again and continues to neglect its responsibilities, said Sean O'Brien, the Teamsters general president. Following years of worker givebacks, federal loans, and other bailouts, this deadbeat company has only itself to blame for this embarrassing position. I don't always agree with the Teamsters, but I agree with that statement. Yellow's in this position because of, themselves. There are obviously things, but at the end of the day, if you're a strong leader, the buck stops with you no matter what. On Monday, Central States issued a delinquency notice to plan participants working at Yellow, operating in companies YRC Freight and Holland. The letter said the companies had deferred health and welfare and pension contributions this past Saturday and would do the same for payments due August 15th. The company advised that it would defer payments of health and pension contributions for June, which were due July 15th, and July due August 15th to preserve liquidity and obtain meetings as well as secure additional financing, a Tuesday evening statement from Yellow. The combined payments were $50 million over a 2-month period, and a recent filing with the SEC showed Yellow had in excess of $100 million in cash. Yellow had said the repayment amounts that it will repay the amounts with interest in the future. If unpaid, the carrier's participation in the pension plan would be terminated on Sunday, and healthcare claims incurred by employees after Saturday would not be paid. Employees have an option to pay for healthcare out of pocket. In a separate notification, Central States said the cost is $471 per week through July 29th, and that amount increases to $507 per week after that, and payments must be received by August 23rd. Yellow and the Teamsters have been unable to reach an agreement out there, and the Teamsters said the company has until Sunday to make the payment. Yellow has a responsibility and obligation to workers. Our members should not suffer because of management's incompetence and financial irresponsibility. And that's from Fred Zuckerman, and he's the Teamsters General Secretary. The Teamsters are working with our local unions and will continue to regularly update members on the situation as the situation unfolds. It's not looking good, you guys. It's, Matt Leffler was on the show on Monday. I personally feel that Yellow is going to be acquired for probably pennies on the dollar here at some point in the near future. I don't know when, but that's my gut. That's what my gut's telling me, because it's just a fucking mess at this point. And frankly, there's a lot of workers who are going to be going without pay, without benefits. And this is why, I wish somebody from the union could come on and talk about this. Do they not have reserves to cover for these workers during this time to make sure that they still get paid? I'm genuinely curious, because I feel like if I was a union worker and I paid in and I wasn't covered in moments like this, I don't know. Again, that would raise a red flag to me. But if they are, I would love to know, because again, the workers are going to suffer from this. Yellow is seemingly a fucking nuclear sinking ship at this point. And frankly, there's an opportunity, though. If you're a competitor of them in any market, I would be fucking all over this right now. And especially stuff pending with UPS as well. It's not looking good out there for a lot of those if you're in that. But if you're a competitor of them, this is going to go very well for you, because and especially if you're non-union, right? If you're not at risk of going on strike for anything, it's going to bode very, very well for you. So yeah, that article you guys was talking about that. And, again, there's danger and opportunity in this. There's a lot of stuff that could go wrong. But again, the market share that's out there and the market cap that Yellow currently has, and I'm only going to discuss Yellow right now because they're the ones who are seemingly going to probably be on strike as early as Sunday. There's a lot of opportunity. I feel like their market cap will be absolved very quickly by anybody else out there, just due to the fact that freight volumes and tonnage is down year over year. So I think that there's some additional capacity out there for non-union carriers to come in and step in and swoop it up, because that's what I would do. That's what I would be instructing all of my team right now if I was in charge of any of those organizations to get after it. But that's going to be it for today, you guys. I got a guest coming on tomorrow. And yeah, we're going to talk about just more shit to deal with: insurance, nuclear verdicts, all that stuff, and a lot of all those things. So he'll be on tomorrow, but that's going to be it for today, you guys. And as always, if you guys got value in this, subscribe and share the show, you guys. If you're watching over on YouTube or you're listening to the replay on iTunes and Spotify, you guys subscribe and share, rank those shows out there, you guys. That's how we reach more and more people, is because of all of you. And that if you see value, your network's going to see value in this as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.